Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Krishna Gopal. I have completed my master from ISI. In this video, I am going to talk about some question which interviewer generally asks from the confusion matrix. Basically you can say the performance matrix in the classification task. Many times we put some case study in the resume and the interviewer just asks you what the evaluation metrics you use, how you use, what the mathematics behind it. So all the question which I face or from somewhere I hear these questions people ask in the interview, I will discuss in this video. I hope this question will be helpful if you are preparing for your data science interview. So the first question is, what is a confusion matrix? State some merits and demerits while using the confusion matrix. So the confusion matrix is an evaluation matrix which is used to evaluate the model performance in the classification task. It can be used in the binary classification as well as it can be extended to the multi-class classification. So before going forward, what is a confusion matrix, and I will tell the answer of the merits and demerits. Let me tell you how we can calculate the confusion matrix. I have a trick. Just see how we calculate the confusion matrix. So in the predicted, this is the actual positive negative, predicted is positive negative. Here you can see P and here you can see N. So write in the first P, here also P, then here is N, there is N. It is a trick to remember the confusion matrix, and believe me, it is much more useful when you are giving an answer in an interview. So let's fill it. You are predicted something is a positive and actually it is a positive, so it is true. You are predicted something is positive and actually is negative, that means it is false. Now you are predicted something negative and is actually is positive, that is false. You are predicted something negative and actually is also a negative, that is true. So this is the confusion matrix in case of the binary classification task. Now if you remember, this FP is nothing, it is a type 1 error. In the statistics we study type 1 and type 2 error, and FN is a type 2 error. So this is the how we build the how we design the confusion matrix. Let's go to the second part of the question. What are the merits and demerits to use the confusion matrix? So just see, first we talk about the demerits. So first demerit is that it gives us 4 score: true positive, false negative, true negative. Suppose I want to compare the two model 1, M1 and M2 I want to compare, but by using this matrix I get the 4 score, and it's very difficult to compare the 4 score of the first model to the 4 score of the second model. So the first demerit is that it not give us the 1 actual score, it gives us the 4 score. So it's very hard to compare the hard to do the comparison between two models. This is the first demerit. Second is about, it's not talking about the class percentage, it's just calculating the numbers, and it's telling it's true positive, so go to the first. It's telling you the false positive, so go to here. But it's not talking about the class probability. In the real world we are more interested to know what is a class probability. So that is the second demerits. It's not use the class probability. Now what is the third? Third is that it's very beautiful when you are seeing the binary classification task. Now suppose you have the multi-class classification task, which is we have in the real world. In the real world we have many cases when we have the multi-class classification, and in that case it's not as advisable to use this as a metric, because it's as the multi-class increase, this matrix is k cross k, this dimension increase, the interpretability decrease, and what we are looking for the interpretability from the matrix, and that we are not getting from by using the confusion matrix. So but we can use as a multi-class, but its interpretability is decreased. So that is the third demerit of the confusion matrix. Now comes to the merit. What the merit? So where it can be useful. Now suppose you are handling some imbalance data set. In that, if you want to see how is your model performing, the overview, what the model overview, like what the false negative, what is the true negative, what is the false positive. At the end, what we want true positive is high, true negative is high, false positive is less, and false negative is less. So we can get the overview picture of a one model by using this confusion matrix. So I hope you are satisfied with the answer, in which case we have to use and in which case we know it, we can't use the confusion matrix. Before moving to the second question, I would like to tell you, if you are using any confusion matrix in your case study, you should know when to use this and when not to use this. This is the question which interviewer make you in trouble to give the answer. You should know the mathematics behind it. You should know the advantage and disadvantage of every confusion matrix. Even you build some confusion matrix, you should know its advantage and disadvantage as well. So okay, so move to the second question. The second question is, what is accuracy and when we should not use the accuracy as a performance matrix. So accuracy is nothing. Accuracy is also a performance matrix which is used to evaluate the model performance. Accuracy is actually calculated true positive plus true negative divided by total positive plus total negative, where we can write total, this positive and negative is what, Tp plus Tn divided by Tp plus Fp plus Fn plus Tn. So this is our what, accuracy. So accuracy we calculate like this. But come to the second question, like when we should not use the accuracy. In the case of the imbalanced dataset, we should not use the accuracy as a performance matrix, because we have the bias class. We have the 90% in class second and we have the 10% in the class 1, where whatever the model predict the majority class. Suppose we are predicting the minority class, then also it give the 90% accuracy. Your model is not performing up to that mark. So we should not use the accuracy in the imbalanced dataset. Second, suppose we are more considering about the false negative. Already I told the false negative is the false negative is type 2 error. What type 2 error is? Suppose take the coronavirus case. You are predicted that patient is negative, but actually he is positive. But once you give he is negative, and then he is very happy, he go to the world and spread the coronavirus. Then just see how much harmful it is. So when while using the accuracy, we are not much concerned about false negative. In the formula we are not seeing the false negative. So this is the cost of making of mistakes is very high once we use accuracy. So due to that reason also we should not use the accuracy. The third point is, like the confusion matrix not use the class probability, like this accuracy is also not talking about the class probability, but in the real world we are more interested to see the class probability. So there are the three major drawbacks of the accuracy. One, when we have an imbalanced data set, which we mostly have in the real world scenario, we should not use the accuracy. Second, the cost of making mistakes is very high because we are not much concerning about the false negative, which is a type 2 error. The third one is when it's not talking about the class probability like the confusion matrix. So this is the three drawbacks. But the most important question what comes from your answer is, you told like you can't use the accuracy when you have the imbalanced data set. Now interviewer can ask you, then how will you handle the imbalanced data set in your case study? So you can say we handle the imbalanced data set by doing the upsampling and downsampling. So now your data set is become balanced. So now you can use accuracy or not. So that is about the third question. The third question is, can we use accuracy once we balance that imbalanced data set? So before giving that answer, I would like to tell you, suppose we have the imbalanced data set, we have the 1:99, we have the total 100 point, and we have the class 1 have 1 point and class 2 have the 99 points. This is your D data set. Now you perform the upsampling, downsampling, you split the k-fold cross validation, and you do the resampling. Many techniques are there to handle the imbalanced data set. You make it balance in the 50:50. That is your D dash. Okay. Now you calculate the accuracy on D dash, you get the 99%. Very good. But what is a probability like the same accuracy you get in your D also? What's the guarantee? because here these both are the very biased. So there is no guarantee you achieve the same accuracy in D once you put your model into the production. So answer is no. Once we make the data is balanced by doing the resampling and downsampling, still we can't use accuracy as a measurement score. So this question is very important and nowadays in the trending. So be prepared with this question, kind of a question which can help you in the interview. Now move to the fourth question, which is pretty easy and everybody can give the answer and very common. Explain the precision and recall. So what is a precision? So we have two terms, precision and recall. If you remember the confusion matrix, we have the actual, we have the predicted. This is the what TP, positive negative positive negative. We have negative negative. It is we are predicted positive and this is false. Okay, this is false and this is true. And this is the P dash, this is N dash, this is P and this is N. So what is the precision? Precision is nothing, TP divided by TP plus FP. This one. That means what? That how much you are predicted, the total numbers what you are predicted, in which how much are true positive you have. Where the recall is what? TP divided by TP plus FN. How much points you have actually, these are the actual points, how much actual positive points you have, in which how much are true positive is there. So also we can say precision is the fraction of relevant instances among the retrieved instances, whereas recall is the fraction of the relevant instances that were actually retrieved. So this is a very simple definition. But in the interview, suppose you are not remembering what is the precision and recall. Nowadays the interview is also the online, and mostly the people's share the screen. So you can draw the confusion matrix and you can do like me and you can explain this is the total positive points, total predicted positive we have, and precision is what, how much total positive is there in the total number of predicted and how much total positive is there in the total actual positive points. So this is the precision recall, very important definition. Now move to the last question. Last question is that how you calculate the F1 score. So F1 score is nothing. F1 score is the harmonic mean between the precision and recall. But the interviewer, if he is interested or she is interested, they want to ask you why you use the harmonic mean. Why we can't use AM, GM and any other mathematical operation. What the problem with AM, GM? Why we use only HM here? So let's see, let's just write this F1 formula. F1 formula is what? 1 upon P plus 1 upon R divided by 2. This is the 2 into P into R divided by P plus R. And what is precision? We study TP by TP plus FP. And what is R? TP by TP plus FN. Now if you see why, I will try to explain you why we use HM. If you see here, the numerator is true positive and recall also numerator is true positive. Both the precision and recall have the numerator same and the denominator is different. But once you reverse them, once you do the 1 upon P and 1 upon R, you can see now their denominator is same and the numerator is different. So once you reverse and take an average, that make more sense compared to now in the standard format you take. This is the fun thing. Second thing, harmonic mean is very near to the minimum of precision and recall. Why? Suppose you have precision 1 and recall 0. So what is your AM? AM what come? AM come is the 0.5 and what is your HM? HM come is 0. And so as I told, HM is very near to the minimum of precision and recall. So what is the minimum in precision recall? 0. So we use the HM because it is very near. Also there is a one relation, AM is greater than GM, greater than HM, greater than minimum. So we use this HM because it is very near to the minimum, while AM is very far from the minimum. So that's the reason you should know why we use harmonic mean. while calculating the F1 score. This is very important question. If you watch this video completely, then you understand the basic confusion matrix and how we use and what interviewer can expect from you. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, then please share the video and subscribe the channel, and hope I will meet you soon in the next video. Up to that, take care, bye bye, and let me know if you have any doubt in the comment section. Thank you, bye.